I have already saved the hiccups data set on my desktop, and I'd like to walk you through making a bar chart when you have related means. Another word for this might be the repeated measures analysis, and this is very common in many fields, especially in education. You see, the way this data set is recorded is quite different from the ones that we've used so far. This one is case number one, person number one. This person received 4 different treatments to try to get rid of their hiccups. Actually, the baseline is the control, so it's not a treatment. They were having 15 hiccups per minute. When they were treated with the tongue, the number of hiccups per minute went down to 9. When they were treated with the carotid artery, the number of hiccups per minute went down to 7. When they were treated with the rectum, the number of hiccups per minute went down to 2. I think Field has a funny sense of humor. Well, now look at person number 2. So you could say with person number 1, in every case of these 3 treatments, the number of hiccups went down. Person number 2, however's baseline number was 13. When treated with the tongue, the number of hiccups per minute actually went up. And so each of these people has their own unique pattern for baseline and for responding to treatments. And we'd like to look at this in a bar chart with related means. So let's get into our chart builder again. Here we go. Now in this case, we're going to go ahead and pull up a simple bar chart. I'll double click on this, and I've got it up here now in my chart preview. The next thing that I'm going to do, and you can't see me doing this, but I'm going to put my finger on the control key, and I'm going to highlight all 4. Oh, let's see, I'd better highlight the first one. Now I'll push the control key and highlight the other 3 treatments. By pushing the control key, I can move all 4 at once, and you do have to move them all at once over to this over to this y-axis. Now we get this message telling us that the values from our variables will be used to summarize the data, and that we have this index of 4 different variables, which is exactly what we want, these 4 different repeated measures on the same people. I'm going to click OK because I like that. Now here is where I'm going to show you for a minute what we can do with the axes. I think that on the x-axis I would like to call it something like type of treatment. Okay, and I'm going to apply that. So this is the first time I'm really using this element properties window. I'm going to go ahead and label my x-axis mean of number of hiccups. Okay, and this will give my reader a good idea of what I'm doing here. I'll also apply this, and I'll go ahead and click OK. I would like to see what this chart looks like. Okay, in my graph window, here I go. Here's my baseline mean number of hiccups. If you were to just look at this really quickly, what would you say about tongue pulling? It doesn't make a difference. It's not really any different from the baseline. What if we come over here to the carotid artery or this rectal massage? These seem to be effective treatments for hiccups, and by far I think we would recommend this one. It might be good to have a backup recommendation because I think I'd rather go for the carotid artery massage and have a few more hiccups per minute than try this method. But who's to say what the reader of our research will want to choose? Anyway, this is a great way to make a graph of repeated measures data. Now let's go back into this chart builder, and the nice thing about chart builder is it remembers what we've done. I think I would like to go ahead and make a line chart instead. I'm going to pull this line chart up here, and I'm going to go ahead and look and see what do I have when I use a line chart to represent the same data. Well, I've got baseline here, tongue pulling, and as I move down, I see that the mean number of hiccups is getting smaller and smaller. Sometimes you'll prefer a line chart to a bar chart. They both give the same information. Let's try one more thing in our chart builder. Let's use this line chart where we can actually look. We can set the color. Oh, no, we would need to have maybe a male and female. We would need to have two different groups in order to do this. And this is something that we can go ahead and do with exam anxiety later, where we've got our two groups. So for this group, I can do either my single line, my bars, and I can get some pretty good information about the treatment that's best.